All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Get Digital Support webinar. I'm Ben Frisch, here to take you through Master Your Email Marketing. And it's a great turnout today. So thanks for joining us. We're really excited to get into today's topic. But before we do, just a quick rundown on Get Digital Support. If you are local, you may know us from the Digital Service Squad, where we still operate through the Small Business Enterprise Center in connection with them, providing some consultation services for local businesses. We've been doing that since 2019. We then launched Get Digital Support in 2022, just as a place to house all of our resources and our educational content that we have developed over the years. And we're excited to just keep it going. So most recently, we provide free digital marketing resources, webinars, and more. And most recently, we have launched some new digital marketing courses where we can get into more topics in more detail. Things like AI for marketing, e-commerce marketing strategies, a beginner's guide to e-commerce, social media strategy and management, search engine optimization, content marketing, Google Ads, email marketing, like today's topic, and photo, video, content creation. Those are all available at getdigitalsupport.ca/courses. You can check them out there. And just as an overview too, because we've sort of got this overarching brand, I like to just explain to people what that is and how that works. Essentially, BeFresh Marketing Group is our kind of overarching brand. And within that, we've got 3 different brands, including Get Digital Support. But I actually started as BeFresh Media, and that is a video production, content creation studio. So photography, video, all that kind of stuff. Started in 2015, and then, as I said, Get Digital Support came in 2022. And most recently, we launched 20 Sharp, which is our digital agency. So all things web design, advertising management, and SEO services. So kind of a one-stop shop for all things digital marketing. You can find us at BeFresh Marketing Group. You can find us at 20 Sharp, Get Digital Support. All of them are linked and connected. So hopefully it's pretty straightforward if you are looking for those types of services. Now let's get into today's agenda, though. Why email marketing is our first point of our first topic there. Just to give a quick overview, why it is so important. And we are going to cover some of the kind of starting out basics in terms of choosing the right email platform in case you haven't, or if you're thinking of switching. We're going to talk about building an email list that converts. So really getting ways to get your email list going and added to. We're going to talk about creating engaging email campaigns. So really what makes up a good email campaign, which does include personalization and automation. So we're going to cover that topic as well. Optimizing for conversions, measuring your success and improving performance, and then take action and next steps. So really quick, why is email marketing so important? It's pretty simple. I mean, one of the main reasons is that an average ROI of 4,200%. So that means for every dollar you spend for your email marketing efforts, you will receive on average about $42 in return. And that's because email marketing is so affordable. You know, a lot of plans and platforms will even start with a free plan. And you know, really, it could just be the amount of time you're putting into craft your campaigns, and that's it. Plus the platform costs. But I mean, that is a much higher return than you will typically see in social media and paid ads. we run a lot of paid ads for clients, and we're excited with an 800% ROI, or 1,000 is amazing, but 4,200 is very very good. It's an excellent return on that investment. So the other reason to consider email is that you own your audience, meaning there's no algorithm changes or pay-to-play restrictions that you run into with Google Ads or social media platforms, or other advertising platforms, whatever they may be, or other platforms that you're using. Your email list is yours. You can control it. Yes, people may unsubscribe at times, but that's just the nature of the medium, and we just have to roll with it. And as long as we're providing content that's valuable to people, and we're going to get into that a lot more, we shouldn't see mass unsubscribes. The other reason is that it's personal, it's direct, and a lot of times it's preferred. Apparently, because I hear a lot of business owners that say, I don't want to email people. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm spamming everybody. And again, as long as you're not, as long as you are providing value to people in a way that they enjoy, they prefer, they expect, then you're not going to be a burden on anyone. Because apparently 74% of people say they prefer promotions via email over social media. Again, that's because it's direct, right? It's right in their inbox. It's harder to miss. And with social media, it's really easy to miss those kinds of promotions. If you're not, in there every day, or paying attention, or following that business so closely, it's easy to miss those kind of things. It's also highly adaptable as a channel. So it's great for lead nurturing, customer retention, and sales. It's essentially the backbone of customer communication and conversions. It's one of the highest performing channels that you can use for this type of activity. And there's a resource here linked out to the ultimate guide to email marketing from HubSpot. Again, going to be sending out this this slide deck to all of the webinar attendees today. So look out in your emails for that before the end of the week. So let's get started with setting up our email campaigns. And it really starts with the right email platform for your business. So there's a lot of things that can go into choosing the right platform. There's a lot of different options and features and things that that you need to consider. So you want to look at your own needs, sort of where you're starting out at. Do you need things like automation, segmentation, or just a simple newsletter? So yeah, when you're looking at these platform options, consider what it is that you're looking for. Scalability really matters, right? So like, you're hoping to grow, and you need to ask yourself the question, will this platform grow with me? Does it have the features that I'm looking for and will need in the future? And deliverability and analytics is a really important consideration as well. You want to ensure your emails land in inboxes and provide actionable insights. Because sometimes the platform may be a factor in whether or not emails get delivered. And having those analytics is really important. So, because we're going to talk a lot about testing and optimizing, and without analytics, we don't know what's performing, what's not performing. We need that data. So that's a really important consideration for sure. And the bottom line is, your email should work for you, not against you. So you want to make sure that you're choosing a platform that fits your business goals and scales with your success. And more specifically, here are a couple of popular email platforms as options. So MailChimp, of course, you've probably heard of it. You might be using it. It's one of the most popular. It's great for beginners and small businesses. And I believe all of these options have a free plan, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely MailChimp does. And usually they'll have that limit where it's free up until a certain number of subscribers. So if you're starting out, it's great to get in on that free plan to really test it out and make sure that that it's the right platform for you, that you enjoy using it. A lot of them too will have an email builder, so like it's like almost like a website builder where you can drag and drop pictures and your content and make sure you have buttons in there. So you want to make sure that that's a really user-friendly experience for you in terms of developing that. Some will have templates that you can choose from too, which is really fantastic, or can be really helpful. If you're not a designer, that can be a real game changer, right? Having those templates to just really get you started and off to the races. So yeah, MailChimp ConvertKit is another one. Best for creators and bloggers, apparently. ActiveCampaign has some advanced automation and segmentation capabilities. Klaviyo tends to be an e-commerce focused, so it integrates well with Shopify, and also has a lot of automation functionality as well. So definitely something to consider. And then there's this best email marketing software for 2025 link that may be of help as well from PCMag. If you're looking at either setting up a new or changing your email platform. So let's talk about how to master your email marketing. I mean, that's the topic of our webinar today. So let's get into it in a little more detail. So, of course, everything starts with an email list. We need to collect those emails, and we want an email list that converts, of course. So, meaning we have the right customers that we're sending the right kind of content and messaging to get results, whatever that may be. So whether or not we're selling products or getting signups to events or bookings for our services, that's what we mean by converting those users. So we want to think about or try and utilize some high converting sign-up forms on your website. So these can be, forms like when we talk about high converting forms, I mean, it's really a lot about the placement of that form. So instead of just putting that email sign up down at the bottom of your website, you want to make it more prominent. We can dress it up with more messaging around what people can expect by signing up for your email newsletter. Again, leaning really heavily into the value proposition, and that brings us into point 2: offer valuable lead magnets. So these are things like guides, checklists, exclusive offers, and gated content. So these are the type of incentives that we can provide, but we need to communicate it, right? So again, just putting that subscribe to our newsletter with a button down in your footer is not as effective as making it a banner section of your website with information about what people can expect, what they're going to get out of signing up. We want to optimize things like pop-ups, landing pages, and gated content in order to really hit the messaging for our audience. Make sure that we're again just speaking their language. We're providing something of value to them, and that's where segmentation can play a role. I talked a little bit about that in terms of choosing an email platform with different features. Segmentation, is when we can take our list and break it apart into different segments where we know maybe this group is interested in this type of product, but this group is more interested in that type of product, and therefore we can segment and craft messaging to those specific groups so that we can really pique their interest. If we know that they're more interested in this rather than that, then it's gonna keep them coming back for more, so to speak, and it's gonna prevent the unsubscribes, because again, if we're just speaking their language, giving them something that they find value in, they are going to appreciate it rather than find it an annoyance, right? Promote signups through social media and partnerships. So yeah, that's a big thing too, where we don't often see people promoting their newsletter sign up, right, or their newsletter list, and this is like a kind of big misstep when it comes to your email marketing, because I mean, we have all these different channels, from social media to paid ads and things like that, and by using those channels to drive people to our newsletter can be just really beneficial in the long term, because we're growing our audience. It can be a lot more beneficial to us than, say, pushing people to just like or follow us on social media, because as we saw from one of our opening slides there, email has a much higher conversion rate than social media. So getting people to sign up for your newsletter can have a greater impact on your bottom line. So the main thing is, a great email list isn't about quantity, it's about quality, right? So focus on attracting people who actually want to hear from you. And here's a tool as well. ConvertKit has free landing page builder. And landing pages, can be can play a big role in your email communications, as we get people, or try and get people to convert by creating an email newsletter that has very specific messaging and a call to action that's going to drive people to a landing page that just continues that sort of flow of that call to action, driving them to the action that you want them to take, whether that's, again, booking a service or purchasing a product. You want to keep that flow moving very swift and smoothly. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well. But when it comes to creating engaging email campaigns, so what does that mean? I mean, we want to start with a subject line, of course, because that's going to be the first thing that people see land in their inbox. And that can be one of the most important part of an email campaign, is the subject line, because again, it's the first thing people will see, and sometimes it can be what gets them to click or not. So you want to keep it short, use curiosity, maybe personalize it. So curiosity meaning you're piquing their interest in some way, you're hinting at something, you're getting them curious about what you're talking about, to get them to open that email. You want to focus on clear, engaging content. So with a strong value proposition. So a lot of people want to throw everything in the newsletter. Sometimes that can be a little overwhelming. And and again, it's really important to try and streamline that messaging with a clear call to action. You want to use a conversational tone, maybe some storytelling within the body of that email. We can oftentimes, get some help from ChatGPT to write some of this content, or an AI tool. Some of these some of these email platforms might have some AI tools for crafting content as well. So that could be a consideration when you're looking at those. But again, include one strong, clear call to action. Don't try and put everything in your newsletter. Keep it really clear and concise. When it does come to email, I think, shorter the better at times. A little bit different from, when we talk about web pages and especially search engine optimization, we have a tendency to make our web pages much longer to fit a lot of content in them. But in this instance, with this direct communication, it's more important to keep it simplified, keep it short, and like a singular call to action. Your emails should feel like a one-on-one conversation, not a corporate announcement. So try and keep it, less buzzwordy, more fun, conversational. It's going to be more enjoyable for the end user in that sense. And then here's a tool as well, CoSchedule's free email subject analyzer. So you can punch in an email subject line, and it will give you some tips, pointers, and kind of give you some feedback on whether or not that's a good subject line. Again, a very vital part of your email campaign that you don't want to overlook. And you can also, here's the thing too, you can try A/B testing your subject lines. So that's another feature that you could potentially, consider when looking at email platforms. So by that, I mean, you can try segmenting in a way, like it'll sometimes with the A/B testing, it's more randomized, but you want to try, let's try this subject line versus that subject line and see which one has a better open rate, better, click-throughs and that kind of thing. Because then you can take that data and implement that or create subject lines based on what was performing best from your previous tests. So there's also personalization and automation for better engagement. This is again about, we can segment our audience by things like behavior, interests, demographics. It's not just about interests. Like there's a lot of different ways that we can segment it. And when we talk about like Klaviyo, for example, some of the integration, as far as I understand, like can pull data from how customers are interacting with your website in order to segment those audiences, which can be incredibly useful, beneficial, right? Because then we can send them very personalized messaging based on how they're interacting with your website, what products they might be looking at or services. And it can, like I said, get very personalized. We want to automate emails from, these can be anything from welcome emails, cart abandonments, re-engagement campaigns. So meaning, hey, we haven't heard from you in a while, you haven't visited the website in a while. And we can automate those with, incentives to come back with, maybe there's a welcome email that comes with a coupon or something, right? But when they're automated, it can be just much more effective. It doesn't take up your time. and you just let it run, which is amazing. That's what it can be. Yeah, just really beneficial to not have to be something that you worry about. In sending out someone subscribes, you need to then go and send a manual welcome email. Like that's too much. So automating it is an amazing solution for that. We want to use dynamic content to tailor messaging to each subscriber. Again, that can be pulling in data from how they're interacting with your website, and so basically sending them content that they've been looking at specifically to just kind of really pique their interest and bring them back to buy or sign up, what have you. It's all about the right message for the right person at the right time. That's the power of email automation. So the more data we have on our list and our individual users, the more that we can automate that and personalize it in a way that will get results. And then here's a tool as well, because it is fairly complex. There's a lot of ways to kind of approach it, and a lot of different tools and features that can help us with email automation. But MailChimp has a guide to email automation, and there's a link for your consideration as well. Again, going to be sending this out to all of our email or our webinar attendees later this week. But if you just actually Google that, MailChimp's guide to email automation, you should find it no problem. So let's talk about optimizing for conversions. So again, we're sending this email blast out to our list, and we want them to convert, meaning we want them to sign up for our events or book our services, buy our products, whatever that conversion may be. But it's, again, really important to keep our emails visually clean and mobile friendly. This again can come down to the different email platform that we're using. So whether or not it has some great templates that we can utilize, that it offers that, or ensures that our emails are mobile friendly and look good on phones. That is incredibly important. We also want to use buttons instead of links for our calls to action. Again, this can be a feature of the email platform, but it just draws more attention to it rather than just a highlighted text link. It looks more official. It looks more straightforward than just could be a really long text link that people might be concerned about clicking. If it looks too long and suspect. That's where buttons can just look more official and direct. And again, testing different formats is important. So this can be from when we develop our emails, they can be in different formats like plain text or HTML. We can try long form content, or really short, shortening that up. Again, I mentioned that shorter is better, but who knows? I mean, if your audience is kind of wanting more content, they want to read more, depends on your audience, right? So you want to test that out and see what works best for you and your audience. We can reduce friction by making actions simple and clear. I don't know how much more clear I can make that. So reducing friction means, there's no barriers in the way of people taking that action, right? We're alleviating their worries and their hesitation. We're giving them the answers that they're looking for to make it really simple, straightforward for them to take that action. And the easier you make it for someone, the more likely they will take that action. Um, and here's a quick or another tool, Litmus email testing tool. Um, got some different uh, testing features for these types of scenarios and this type of campaign testing for your emails. I'm moving right along, by the way. And if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to drop them in the Q&A. But let's talk about measuring success and improving performance. So, there's some obvious ways to do this by tracking key metrics like open rates, click-through rates, and conversions. And so it might not just be on your or within your email marketing platform. You um, you might also track that within Google Analytics. So that's an amazing way to really see the benefits of your email marketing efforts by looking at not only, okay, someone clicked through your email, great, but what did they do when they got to your website? With Google Analytics and GA4 specifically, we are able to really track like all of the events or actions that people took on your website once they got there, including like have they purchased from you. Um, One of the best things I love about Shopify is its integration with Google Analytics, because you get a lot of amazing data out of your Shopify website. Even though Shopify has its own analytics, when you connect it to your Google Analytics account, um, it's incredible the amount of data that we can see. And then especially when we send emails from Shopify, we're able to see that traffic that comes in from our emails and exactly the amount of revenue that that email has provided us, um, based on people clicking through and purchasing our products. So by keeping an eye on this data, you know, it's going to help us to make those improvements in terms of our content, our messaging, um, and everything else that goes into our email marketing. Again, A/B testing is a great way to impact those results and to see which is performing better. So we can do that not only with their subject lines, as I mentioned earlier, but layouts, calls to action, and format. We said lots of different ways that we can test these things and see what is the best. Uh, the best sort of scenario, the best combination of these things for our target audience. Um, and I mean, it is almost like search engine optimization in that uh, that there's always stuff to test. There's never going to be um, an end to, you're going to find the perfect subject line, the perfect layout, the perfect email and messaging, and then next week it will just not perform as well. So that's just always going to be, unfortunately, something that we have to, keep in mind um, as we craft and continue to improve our email marketing. A lot of different factors, will make up the success. Right? It's not just about the subject line or the layout and the call to action. Time of day can be a really important consideration. Um, that it depends on um, when what our audience is, who our audience is, for example. Most times, or yeah, most of the time we say like Tuesdays or Thursdays. Mondays are okay too. Typically, we want to send them out in the mornings or early afternoons, but you know, we don't necessarily want to send emails on a weekend unless we are like maybe B2C and we know people are going to be looking at their emails at a specific time. It really depends. So that's why I don't actually have a slide in here about like what's the best time, because just like everything else, like it's really going to depend on your audience, and we want to test those times a day and everything else to make sure, find what works for our audience, what do they prefer, and what gets us the best results. We also wanted to avoid deliverability, to avoid spam filters. So you know, this has to do with like the quality of our email marketing list. So making sure that deliverability is very high, you know, in the 99%, meaning, you know, we have 500 emails in our list, or let's say 5,000, and 99% of them are getting actually delivered to people's inboxes. This is really important because if we're you know, buying mailing lists, that can get a little gray area, or not so much gray area. I mean, it's um, sort of frowned upon in that, you know, you're probably going to get a lot of those undelivered emails, and that doesn't look good from a spam detection perspective. And so we really want to avoid that however possible. So making sure that we are collecting quality emails from our customers directly, and not buying them from questionable sources is a really really good kind of strategy there when we talk about building our email list. But yeah, measuring success and improving performance, heat maps can be another way to really kind of understand and get some feedback on how people are interacting with not only our email themselves or our website. And so heat maps, of course, are kind of a visual representation of different things, like how far people are scrolling down our email, and it'll show with just an overlay of like red being here's where the most people have looked at, and then it gets cooler, you know, down to orange, and then yellow, and then like green and blue down to the bottom where no one is scrolling to. And then same for clicks, where people are clicking. It'll use the same sort of color temperature to just indicate where the majority of your audience is clicking in your email. So this might be a feature of your email platform. You'd have to look into that. Otherwise, for your website, there is a tool called Microsoft Clarity that offers heat maps for your website. So if you install that, you can see just all of your users, how they're interacting with your website in that way. But then specifically, you could burrow down into all of the people who came from your email campaign and how they have interacted with your pages as well. So just to get a sense of, you know, even the difference between like a regular user, how they're interacting, and maybe it's slightly different from your email subscribers and how they're interacting with your website, which can help you in a lot of ways to maybe craft those landing pages, optimize those landing pages, and in turn get better results. And the main thing is, yeah, email marketing success isn't about sending more emails. It's about sending better ones. That is really key. Because yeah, I mean, that's another question too that a lot of people ask is like, how many emails should I be sending? And yeah, and again, I don't have a slide for that because it can really depend on your audience. You know, I would probably tell people, send as many as your audience will allow, right? Like, or because they'll tell you, right? And they'll tell you by unsubscribing. If you're sending too many emails, they're not getting the value that they want out of that content. If it's just kind of bombarding them maybe with the same message over and over again, then they're going to start unsubscribing. And so that's how you can sort of take note, scale it back, and focus on really sending out email messages. What did we say? To the right person at the right time, with the right message, right? That's what it's all about. So additionally, here is a tool, Mailmoto's guide to Google Analytics email tracking. Because yeah, unfortunately, it is a little technical to set up Google Analytics tracking depending on your email platform. So some of them might have just like a quick and easy, copy paste your Google tag ID into the email platform. That would be amazing if it does. If not, it can, like I said, get a little technical. But here's a guide that will hopefully help to get that set up. Because again, it is incredibly useful to be able to look at that traffic that's coming from your email into your website to really understand how much value that they are giving back in terms of conversions and yeah, actions they're taking on your website. So let's talk about just taking actions and next steps. Here are some things that you can do to start improving your email marketing today. So start by auditing your current email list and campaigns. So by that we mean, um, uh, have you looked at any of your results so far? If you've sent out multiple campaigns in the past, are you really looking at those results, and analyzing or comparing things like subject lines, what got a better click-through rate, what got a better open rate based on maybe time of day, um, all these kinds of things. You want to, really start auditing that, understanding the performance of those campaigns that you've sent in the past in order to start making some of these improvements. Number two is you can start by implementing at least one new strategy from today's session. So whether that's, segmentation, automation, even just A/B testing, whatever it is, maybe let me know in the chat if there's one that you want to start using today. That'd be awesome. But then three, of course, is test, analyze, and refine your approach. So again, I can't stress enough how important it is to look at that data that you're getting back, and find out what's working, what's not working, and make those improvements so that your emails are performing at their best for your audience. So additionally, we have a resource. That's the best email marketing software for 2025. Again, just as a recap there, so that it can help you hopefully pick the right email platform for your business based on your needs there. And then just a quick reminder, sign up for our email marketing course. at getdigitalsupport.ca, receive hands-on instruction. So if you want more, if you want some real hands-on learning and strategy, sign up for our course. We have a coupon code for our webinar attendees. Save 20% with GetWeb 2025. And yeah, you'll learn about creating engaging content. We work together to build your email list. So implementing some of those strategies to get more signups, to segment your list effectively, and optimizing those email campaigns for better results and more. So hopefully, yeah, if you're really interested in getting more out of your email and getting better at managing those email campaigns, that is a great option for you. And that brings us to any questions. Like I said, let me know. Drop them in the Q&A if you have any questions. Hopefully you found this helpful and got some strategies that you can use. Or you can just tell me, like I said, yeah, what's an email strategy that you plan on implementing right away. Anybody? Everyone's quiet today. I can appreciate that. Oh, we got something. I think Annie's working on a question here. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is a good question. I mean, can you please give an example or two of a clear call to action without bullying the customers? I mean, yeah, and like, see, I mean, I think this is where a lot of business owners really hesitate to get into email marketing because they feel like they're either bullying or pressuring customers into buying. But I mean, there's a lot to say about that, right? I mean, in that one, it's kind of our job, to sell ourselves, right? As business owners, as marketers, we're there to sell that product or service. And so if the customer feels like it's pressure, that if they're being pressured or bullied in a way, I mean, that's very probably a strong term, but then we're not doing our job as marketers. Like, we need to communicate the value of this product or service in such a way that just makes them go, yes, I want that. And of course too, like, again, it comes down to the right audience. So if we're sending out messages that are getting a lot of unsubscribes, that's their way of telling us that, like, I don't want this content, it's not right for me, and that's okay, right? So we can learn a lot from that, in that maybe it's our messaging, maybe it's the audience themselves that we need to improve, and we can start working on both. But at the end of the day, yeah, the key thing is that your content has value. So, okay, I'll give some examples too, if you're asking for examples as well. I mean, like, I am just two examples that I know of, or I can think of, is okay. One is the Small Business Enterprise Center as a great example, I think, where they have a fantastic newsletter that goes out every week, right? So some people might think that is that's a lot, right? But but I find it incredibly valuable because it's got relevant business events that are important to me, that I often will attend. A lot of times they're free, or pretty cost effective. So so this is a newsletter that I don't mind receiving. In fact, I look forward to receiving it every week, because it's something that I'm really interested in, right? So um, that's a fantastic example of just providing value to the right audience. Um, Another example is, I'm really into camera equipment. I got a big old cinema camera right behind me here. And so I signed up for a newsletter from a, um, camera retailer called VizTech, and I think that one comes out every week as well. And I don't open that one as often, um, but I do still open them quite frequently to see, what kind of cameras are on sale. If there's anything of interest to me, like I still, like I said, I don't always open it, but I don't unsubscribe, because there is time to time some, content, some sales, things like that I do find important, or I find interesting, and I want to stay in the loop on that. So again, I don't feel pressured at all. Uh, I don't feel bullied in any way, because this is of interest to me. So if you can sort of, again, find that audience that is really interested in what you're offering, and keep your content interesting, then it's going to be a great relationship of, uh, not everyone just unsubscribing because you're annoying them or bullying them, pressuring them into just buying your product all the time. And I mean, that's, there's a lot to say about that too, in terms of like crafting that messaging so that you're not just buy my product, buy my product. Like, we can, maybe talk about, we can share the value of, or the benefits of this one product, maybe some things that people haven't considered before. And maybe it's a new way to use that product, or, it's just something that's valuable to people, right? So these are really important considerations. So I think, um, yeah, Valentina says she's going to start by collecting emails first. That's a great first step, if you haven't started already. Um, uh, oh, and what incentives are better or more effective when you're starting out? That's a great question. I mean, yeah, like, I don't often recommend that you always just default to discounts. Um, Certainly, it can be an incentive that people will gravitate towards, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, um, uh, there are, um, other things that we can offer to our email subscribers. Uh, like, if your products um, are constantly changing, let's say, you can offer people, first dibs on new stock, right? So just a fact of, or the incentive of um, being in the know, right? Being the first, getting that exclusivity, can oftentimes be all that people need to find value in your email messaging. So I hope that's helpful. I think we'll cut it there. We're at uh, just about an hour there. So thanks everyone for joining me today. Really appreciate your participation, and we hope to see you next time. We've got a couple more webinars planned. Find them and register at getdigitalsupport.ca. We'll see you next time. Bye for now, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.